Well, our long case clock, Mr. Harrison, is finished. Just moving back so we can get the whole length of it in the frame. It's taken about 6 months to build it, design it and build it. It's all made from Tasmanian blackwood, which I had the pleasure of being able to cut from a log that was destined for firewood, and plank that and then stack and dry it, then cart it around for nearly 10 years and finally it's been used here in this clock. We've called the clock Mr. Harrison after John Harrison and his grasshopper movement from about 1740. It's keeping remarkably good time. It's keeping within 60 seconds in 24 hours, and I think I'll probably get it a bit better than that as I just tidy up its mechanism a little more. So let's move in and have a closer look at it. I'm filming this with holding the camera with one hand and trying to do other things with the other, so bear with us. It's driven by a 27 kilo weight, which is down in here. And there it is there. It's steel from I got it from a fabricator who makes truck bodies. That's driving at a 2 to 1 reduction, and it's got to take 6.5 days to travel the distance. I'd aimed for 7, but I didn't take into account that I'd need so much headroom on it with that, so I lost half a day and all of that. It's wound up in here with a little brace, and the chain winds it. Winds really easily, there's no problem to wind it. So that's that end of it. Oh, and the pendulum, of course, with its pendulum adjustable bob on the bottom, and characteristic of a grasshopper movement, quite an arc of swing with the pendulum. In fact, it's about 6 degrees, so there we are. So we'll just close the door there. Oh, a little plate I put on here, you probably won't be able to see it. Perhaps you can see it, there we are. Just put that on for posterity. My dear wife assisted in the design of the aesthetic side of it, and she's very good with that, so I made mention of that on the plaque, so there we are. Now into the top end of it. A little bit of inlay, I made the inlay as well. That's a little bit of Huon pine and blackwood from Tasmania. Hope you can see it there. Just moving back a little bit. That's the top end of it. We've got glassed in, fold out doors on either side of it as well as at the front. And down on the main case, we've got windows there that are reminiscent of a church window with the sill at the bottom and the rounded top. I had a lot of fun building symbolism into the clock. I'll mention some of it in a minute. Now let's open the main face. The clock dial is actually 6mm thick glass, and I've got 2 little LEDs illuminating it inside, so that's why you can see that blue halo around the outer edge of it, and it lights up quite discreetly but very nicely of a night time as a night light, and you can still read it quite clearly. Now we'll see if we can show you some of the inside mechanism. Well, let's start with the grasshopper. You can see You can see the grasshopper working away there. There's a 500 to 1 reduction through the gearbox. I cut all the gears myself. It's not as hard as it looks, to be honest. You just need to be patient. I made a mistake with my maths on these gears. So the first set that I made, the clock was a 72-hour clock instead of a 24-hour clock. Well, I couldn't find a planet that rotates in 72 hours, so I remade the gearing to suit. It's everything's on sealed bearings. Everything that moves has its own sealed bearings. The frame was reminiscent, it's all timber of course, but it's reminiscent of our Cornish ancestry and the architecture, the stonework of the mining buildings and pumping engines, and in keeping with that is the actual winding mechanism, which is rather hard to see. Oh, that's a bit better. Down in there where the cable runs. So that looks a little like the winding engines of the mines, and the top of the grasshopper moves a little like a beam engine pumping water out of a mine. So there's all sorts of little things like that in it. So I could go on all day, but that's about the best of it. The top of it turned out really nicely, but you can't really see that. It's all blackwood, all beautiful Tasmanian blackwood. So that's about it. There's the clock, keeping quite good time, and it will be more so as I tidy a few things up. So we'll just close that front face and walk back, and have a final look at it from a distance. Something to leave to the family for posterity. So I hope you enjoyed all that, and we'll do another project in the near future. So bye bye for now.